Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Being Human Now show. I'm your host, Jennifer Locksmith, and today we have a very special treat. We've got SunBow TrueBrother here with us. I'm going to read his bio. SunBow TrueBrother is an author, international speaker, and shamanic practitioner who traveled for 4 decades in 20 countries on 4 continents, learning ancestral wisdom and ceremonial ways with numerous indigenous elders from dozens of nations from North to South America and to Australia. Paranormal encounters and experiences have been part of his training, as well as karmic cleansing. Following spiritual guidance, including from non-human intelligence, SunBow wrote the Sasquatch Message to Humanity trilogy, with the third book being an international collaboration of co-authors, and the Encyclopedia of All Things Sasquatch, an extensive documented research. His last series, Contemporary Shamanic Journeys, is an autobiographical account of the teachings he has received throughout his life, with 3 volumes published. Now, his last 7 books are listed on his website, scenicsasquatch.com. That's spelled SCENICSASQUATCH.com. Scenic stands for Sasquatch Close Encounter Network for Interspecies Communication. And you can find the link to SunBow's website in the show notes here. So you can just make it super easy. Go down, click the show notes. His link will be there for his website. And he is also something he is coming up. He's also been invited to be a presenter for the second time at the Serpent Mound Star Knowledge Peace Summit just this next equinox. So welcome, SunBow. Thank you so much for being here today with us. And thank you so much for all your work, past and present. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Jennifer, and thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, so
I
you have
must
done,
give an update. I just declined my engagement with the Serpent Mound next
okay,
month
good to
because
know.
it was, I don't know, 2,500 miles and a lot of things going.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
So I had to leave room for others.
Yeah. Absolutely, that is far. And I just wanted to ask you real quick. So I think I heard you mention on another interview that are you working on another book right now?
Honestly, it's been almost 2 years. I haven't worked on a book,
Mm-hmm.
publishing 8 in a row. Uh,
Oh my goodness.
there's pending projects on the table, but there's many other projects that I'm writing at right now,
I bet.
like tree nursery and herbal tincture transformations and things like that. That take
Yeah.
and gardening takes some.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, you've had a fascinating life and you've done more traveling than I think anyone I know. So my first question is for me, because I'm curious, because I want to travel too. And I just feel like stories are the best way for people to get to know somebody. So what is your most memorable traveling or profound traveling memory that you have that you could share with us?
Very hard question to
I
answer.
know. Or
That's
maybe
why
two, maybe not just one, maybe two.
okay. Well, that's why I've been filling books with those stories, and I got like
Yeah,
150 pages in my autobiography so far. So that's a lot of stories.
it is.
Uh, if you
Can
want
you
to
give us a
go deep
teaser?
into a story, sometimes a story can take all night. But if you want
Yeah,
to be brief in time, I'll have to like summarize.
yeah.
And it's hard to pick the best one, but one I can cite. I guess it's special. My last major journey to when I went to Australia in 2020. And we went there to do well, for many purposes, to learn and to do a pilgrimage and ceremonies. And when I arrived there, it was during the worst fires of recorded history. It
Oh
was
my
12
goodness.
times larger, 12 times bigger than the Amazon forest the year before. It were a record. So all Australia was on fire. It had been a drought for over 2 years. And so we decided to join our ceremonies. We were not the only ones involved in the process, but during our pilgrimage, we decided to do a series of ceremonies toward Uluru, the heart, the largest monolith on the planet, which is at the heart of Australia,
Mm-hmm.
considered as a chakra or important vortex. And we started doing ceremonies. As we started doing ceremonies, we started getting a few drops of rain. Next time, a little more. Next time, a little more. And when we got there to Uluru for the planetary alignment, I think it was January 12th or something, 2020. And there were Aboriginal people doing ceremonies on that day, special. And there was also another gathering happening nearby around those events. While we did our own ceremony, we went on a remote site.
Mm-hmm.
It was in Katajuta, a little ways from Uluru. We walked, I don't know, hours in the desert, and we found a special spot. We had kind of spotted and followed the guidance to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a little old stone circle that I rebuilt, and we did ceremonies there, and we called on the rains, and I called also the snow. And we buried some offerings to kind of like some tensorings and energy equalizer, we can say, to kind of harmonize microwaves and geoengineering and all these energies that affect the weather.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah.
So we did that ceremony, and as soon as it was finished, we started walking back. We started having a little rain. On the way out, it was summer in the desert, Australia, in the outback. We had rain on the way out with a rainbow. And then for the whole week, we drove back to southern Australia, to Victoria. Uh, it started raining. We saw on the radar maps. It
Mm-hmm.
started raining right in Uluru, in the center of the desert, and somewhere where it's not supposed to rain. And it started raining all along the way we had been traveling on.
Oh my goodness.
And within a few days, it went all around Australia like a rainbow serpent. That's the spirit of the earth energy that the Aboriginal recognize
Yeah,
that controls the weather patterns and all these things,
yeah.
and the telluric energies. So it went like a serpent around Australia.
Oh my goodness.
Within a week, all the fire almost were out. The droughts were over. The wells and the rivers were filled, and it rained. Even rained some huge uh, hailstones in only in three places, big cities: Melbourne, Canberra, and Sydney.
Oh my goodness.
To the point where the prime minister asked the people to stop praying.
I feel like you guys had obviously a lot to do with that. That's awesome. That's
I'm
awesome.
sure there's a lot of people and energies involved in this. I'm just glad I was part of the process, and that the timing is unmistakable. It cannot be a coincidence.
Oh yeah.
Or if it is, it's a good one. Let's say.
Yeah.
Uh, Life is made of incredible coincidences.
Yeah.
Call it synchronicity or miracles, as we wish.
Oh yeah. And the power of you guys coming together just goes show how powerful we are when we come together too. Yeah.
Exactly. And when we express our intentions and put it into action,
Yeah.
manifest a different reality, different
Yes.
paradigm, different consciousness, and different lifestyle.
Yeah.
Create our own teaching, our own medicine that we can ours to carry and share.
Yes. Yeah. So You have a very special spirit guide, and I want to talk about him before I mention this channeled message from him. His name is Kamooh, because this leads into my next question. Would you mind telling us a little about your journey with Kamooh and who he is?
Yeah, Camus is presented himself to me multiple times. I could not say exactly what was the first time.
Hmm.
Uh, I can recall I had my first close encounter with Sasquatch in 1981. And
Hmm.
then sporadic ones here and there and different other phenomena, different other paranormal experiences and encounters with non-human intelligence, like star beings and spaceships,
Yes.
and all these things were part of a training and a formation to learn to understand these realities. And so it took me, I often say, it took me 33 years of shamanic training with multiple elders, teachers, medicine people, of
Yeah.
dozens of native nations as well as non-native people.
You went to Hopi land, right?
Yes, I'm a adopted Hopi since
Yeah.
1987. I've been there over 15 times.
Yeah. And you met some very prominent elders too. You studied with them. Very well respected.
I was very blessed that
Yes.
when I left on my first tour of Turtle Island in 81, I was before I turned 17. Uh,
Wow.
it soon turned, I wanted to discover the universe and learn.
Hmm.
It soon turned into a spiritual quest. Like I found out the purpose of life, for is to gain some, get learn some wisdom and develop some spiritual gifts
Yeah.
and some understanding. And that's what I decided to do in my life. And it's not over yet.
Yeah.
But it's a path that not everybody takes, and that it took a lot of sacrifice and uh, detachment and all kind of efforts basically to move forward. I ended up after my first tour of temples and ashrams and gatherings. I ended up I met a spiritual master who instructed me to. He said you should go to the Hopi because you are connected with those people. And so the first time I got there, I was 17. I was welcome like a guest. They left me in a home on my own. They gave me teachings, like gift food, eagle feather from the ceremonial dress, and invited me to ceremonies.
Oh my goodness.
So that was my first introduction with the Hopi. I mean, I said, well, this kind of people is rare to find.
Yeah.
We can say it's not necessarily all the Hopi people, but it's the Hopi spirit,
Hmm.
the wisdom, ancestral wisdom, and the heart have preserved and transferred it. And so that started me with this. I learned about Hopi prophecies and about the book of the Hopi and the Four World and all the different teachings. So rich of the pantheon of all the 280 Kachina listed, and there's more. And all these things all carry different stories, different clans, 48 clans or so, all with their own secrets and ceremonies.
Hmm.
So nobody, even Hopi elder knows everything about Hopi teachings and culture and prophets. Everybody has a version, some knowledge about it.
Hmm.
And that's what ceremonies are for. Or initiation is to come and share this knowledge with, oh, you have this story, we have this story, complete each other. So that's the difference between spirituality and religion, basically. It's not a competition who knows best or who's right or wrong. It's a process. It's a progress of evolution, of learning. There's four words in Hopi to describe the source of knowledge. I hope I remember it well, but there's Navode, which is I might skip the Hopi words, but I'll
Okay.
remember the main principle. One is from ancestral knowledge, accumulated experience from
Okay.
generations that we don't need to redo the same mistakes or start from scratch and learn from. The second one is from dreams and visions. We can have direct inspiration and see the past, present, future, and far places and remote view and all kinds of things from
Hmm.
direct inspiration. The next one is from the prophecies, and that basically in Hopi, the word for prophecy means guidelines. Doesn't mean this will happen or it's a fatality. It means if people take this path, this will happen. If people take that
Okay.
path, that will happen. That's a consequence, logical consequence of, but with many details describing, like state flags and things, centuries, inventions, for instance, centuries ahead. The last one, let me remember, ancestral knowledge, visions, prophecy, and ceremonies, ritual ways. When we practice ritual ways, we also we learn, also develop those ways. They carry teachings. They have meaning. Every
Mm.
object, every gesture has a teaching.
Yeah.
So these are the sources, according to Hopi knowledge, of knowledge.
Hmm. Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, I've wondered about that. And would you say we're living in prophetic times?
I was just commenting on that on some threads since a couple of days now. I'm
Wait,
asking.
can you talk a little louder? I missed what you said. I'm sorry, I missed what you just
Okay.
said.
Well, I was just commenting on some threads about Hopi prophecy the last couple of days because people tag me. I want to have my take on those things. There's a lot of different interpretation. I'm not saying mine is better. It just makes sense for me.
Hmm.
A lot of different ways, different layers in the prophecies.
Yeah.
Uh, it might unfold in multiple parallel events that all correspond to the signs.
Okay.
So to understand the prophecy, people have a tendency to isolate, take one element that resonates, and they isolate it, and they you make this a prophecy, but this is a detail in the big picture. What gives it a sense and explains it is all the other elements of the fabric. So
Hmm.
the prophecy, that's why they say not even the wisest elder, most knowledgeable, know all of the prophecy. They have some knowledge of it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, all right. So getting back to so I have a question. I have a question regarding something Kamooh told you. Um, so if we could just real quick do a recap of who he is. He is your spirit guide. He is, um,
Yeah, he presented himself as like I said, I don't know whether really the first time I met him because I had
right.
encountered before, but in 2003, I know for sure when I was traveling with a friend, we were coming back from native ceremonies and a gathering, and in the middle of the rainforest, he was there in the road. We passed by very close. I wanted to stop my friend. uh, he's had several other Sasquatch encounters since, including with me.
Uh,
There's a story everywhere. But what I can say is that Kamooh basically we finally connect. They tried to. I say that they because he's not alone. They're a team. And we can have an infinite number of spiritual guides. as long
Okay,
as
an
we
infinite
can,
number?
as long as we can establish a connection, and
Okay.
honor it basically. Because if we don't maintain contact or communication, it's lost. It's not lost, but it's like it dims out.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's say, in a spiritual practice, the more we put kindle on the fire, the more it burns. So it's the same with contact, with interspecies communications. And Kamooh came to me on Vancouver Island when I went on a special visit west. It's actually 10 years ago now. Um, this May, and so he came and sat, and I went and they did offerings and prayers, and in order to meet them, and he came and he sat and he started to teach me in a telepathic manner. That was pretty much like the opening of the door.
Yeah.
There was an interdimensional multiverse waiting for me on the other side. It's endless and infinite, and I started to surf along with the ride. It's a cosmic adventure, and there's a lot of fantastic blessings along the way.
Yeah.
Many teaching, a lot of understanding. Every experience brings a step forward, a new growth of a soul. So that's very hard to summarize these last 10 years.
Yeah.
Because from that first meeting, he asked me to write the Sasquatch Message to Humanity, which I didn't know was going to be a book first. I started as post, it turned into a book, and then into a trilogy, and into related encounters and people collaborations and people from around the world who have such contact with Sasquatch. So
Yeah.
that was one of the greatest achievements, I believe.
Yes.
It brought awareness, and there's been hundreds, literally hundreds of heart-touching comments and
Yeah.
reviews.
Oh, yeah.
People,
On your website. Yeah.
yeah,
You can see you touch a lot of people. And I will tell you, I haven't. I learned of you through Kelly, Rainbow Butterfly. And I am going to buy your books and binge them because they're so important. Thank you so much. You've touched a lot of people already.
yeah. So thanks also to Kamooh and all the other guides who have
Hmm.
brought me to write those books, because I wouldn't have done it on myself. First of all, I had studied and learned a lot of things on a lot of different topics,
Yeah.
but there were some blanks, and they kind of connected the dots and put the whole big picture together.
Yeah.
That made sense and coherence. I'm not saying it's 100% accurate, and I can even say there's a couple technical details I have to fix at some point, but it doesn't change that.
Yeah. Um, well, if it's okay with you, I'd like to read a quote that you channeled. It's on your website, but it caught my attention and I had a question, so I'm gonna read it and then ask you the question. So this is channeled from Kamooh. Um, when your people will come to treat each other as equals and all life as important and sacred, they will start to be ready to reconnect with other two-leggeds like my people and the Star Elders. So my question when I read that, it jumped out to me that the word reconnect. So what happened to disconnect us? Because I mean, in general, it seems to me that we've been taken off our path quite a bit in general. Um, so would you mind just giving us a bit of a lesson in how we got disconnected in the first place?
Yes. The one thing we often notice, even among spiritual people and open-minded people and researchers of all kinds, there's let's put it this way. I'll use the words as they come. There's a fear of evil, People don't want to see it.
Mhm.
They deny it's there. No, there's not. Everything's right. Everything's, even if it's growing bigger and bigger in our face on a daily basis, people
Yes.
still don't see it. People
Yeah.
say, "Oh no, no, it can't be evil. There's no such thing as such evil." Well, sorry to disappoint, but yes, it's out there. It's been out there. It's been controlling humanity and it's time for us to wake up, free our consciousness from all those oppressing, dominating powers that feed on the Hopi call them Powaka. They feed on life forces, feed on other energies, right? That's just a synonym of witch, sorcerer, or whatever. The
You
dark
call
side.
them the Dark Lords, right?
Yeah, the lower lords, the dark lords, because they are lords for certain,
They
for
use black
sure,
magic.
because they do have a lot of control and influence, even the ones in the shadow we don't see.
Hmm.
But so they are lords of their domains, but lower because they are lower consciousness, lower intention, lower means, lower frequencies, and that's what causing us this disconnection, this loss of our ancestral knowledge, this feeling, this empathy of feeling we're not just a pack of molecules. That knowing we have a soul, knowing we have telepathy, and all those things exist if we just start practicing.
Yeah.
So that's what they don't want us to discover, that you and I have the power to transform reality, to co-create the world we want, to drop out of all the dying paradigm that is not going anywhere. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse.
Yep.
Don't give it any attention. I mean, you can watch it's like a show, a reality show with reality TV stars, and I mean, we'll watch it going. It's like the Hopi explained teaching about that to me. It's like they have Kachina dance ceremonies that last usually at least a whole weekend from sunrise to sunset.
Oh.
So the Kachina are those masked dancers that represent spiritual beings and sisters and star beings.
Hmm.
They come and bring their blessings and their ceremonies and offerings. But they dance half an hour and take half an hour break all day because they gotta breathe it.
Yeah. They're gonna
Don't
drop
learn.
over.
But during the other half hour, it's the sacred clowns that come in. And the sacred clowns are some guys who it's part of the ceremony. Some guys who could not qualify with all the requirement to do the ceremony, for instance, so they can do the clown.
Hmm.
And the sacred clowns come in the ceremonies during the interludes, and they're allowed to do anything forbidden, anything like taboo, or they impersonate human stupidity and evil and all these things.
Hmm.
So that's why the Hopi told me, they say, all those clowns out there, look at them as it's part of the interlude in the show. It's part of the ceremony.
Hmm.
These things has to pass so we can come back to the prayers and bring the world back to harmony and the next set.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting carried away a little
No,
bit.
you're not. This is great. This is great. It's very interesting. I want to get into this for sure. But there's something. Are you aware? I'm even afraid to say it because they're like censoring this. Have you heard of this is a new thing everyone's talking about, the telepathy tapes? It's a podcast. It's
Uh,
about so it's regarding what we're talking about, and they're starting to try to censor it, I think, because it's touching on what you and I, what you just talked about. I'm totally with you, how we are spirit. First and foremost, we have all these abilities at our highest potentials. What this podcast is about, it's on the first season. This woman's doing research into autistic children, like severe autism, and a lot of them are nonverbal. And they, I guess, have found ways to allow them to speak through typing. And these children's inner world, they're basically, a lot of them say they didn't know they had a body. They can't feel their body. They're essentially in the spirit world. They found out they can read minds. They're seeing spirits, communicating with spirits. They're diagnosing illnesses, like telling people what's wrong inside them. Um, they're essentially, it's showing us what we're really capable of. And there's actually an effort, of course, this typing, I forget what it's called, spelling. The autistic, the school board autistic, they're not acknowledging it. They say it's not reliable. Of course not, because they don't want this getting out that these showing us what we're really capable of. It's just these kids, you think they're not there, but they are. And apparently they go to this place called the Hill, and it's essentially like a mind internet where they all communicate together at this like hill. They all call it the Hill, and they can read the minds or communicate with kids that are across the country, um, just with their minds. It's amazing, and that just goes to show. And I think it's so fitting it's coming out right now because I feel like this is a time for truth, and this is just it's just amazing that this is showing us what we're really capable of, like you just said.
Yeah, it's time for disclosure, and there's because this knowledge has been suppressed. It's being
Yeah,
suppressed until today, and there's also it's good to know that we're not alone.
yeah, it's
First
starting
of
to.
all, we have some human relatives and allies that are conscious and work on the same
Yeah.
evolution.
Hmm.
But we have also a lot of other relatives and allies, starting with nature around us.
Hmm.
It's incredible how plants can heal or animals can bring comfort and sometimes profound teachings if
Yeah.
we just pay attention. Then we go to this non-human intelligence.
Yes.
And it's like I call them the elders, the elder related, because of their being here longer than us. So what do elders do? Uh, they share what they've learned. They take care. They watch over the youth. They give some clues, some guidelines, some, but they can't walk the steps for others. They give an example, becoming wiser, more loving, more peaceful, more serene. And that's what elders are supposed to become. So that's what elder relative, non-human species who are connected with us do. They are caretakers, they are guardians, protectors, and they watch over us like their little younger siblings.
Hmm.
So we can be grateful. I am grateful for all these relatives, not just one class.
Yeah, me too.
Sometimes just realizing what everybody, every being has given us in our life brings tears of gratitude because we've never, nobody will have ever made it where we are without all the help we receive.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you, speaking of help we have it all around us. I wanted to ask you about the sun, because I feel like we learn in school that it's just, this gaseous a body that's a flame, above us. And it seems to me like the Dark Lords, as you call them, well, we know there's numerous reasons they're spraying. They always do something for more than one reason, but one of the reasons seems to be to block out the sun. They have told us that it's dangerous, it causes disease. They seem to want us to stay out of it. So my question to you is it really just what we learned in school that it's just this burning ball up there, or is it something far more special than that? Because I suspect it is. I've heard it's a portal, I've heard it's a mirror. Do you have any insights into that?
Well, for a while, there was, I think on Soho, or it was a couple telescope, monitoring the sun. Now we could see, I might be wrong, but I think it's not public anymore. Discontinued the program. I'm not sure. But there was for a while, we could see all these huge celestial bodies coming in and out of the sun.
Yeah.
planet size sometimes. And then I heard an elder from the Sinai's nation, so-called BCS nation, has been declared extinct almost a century ago, but it's still there. And this elder said that when he was a kid, his grandmother told him that the sun was a portal for star beings that were coming in and out there with their spaceships. And we talk about like 60 years ago, before Star Trek,
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's fascinating. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. So, okay, so I've got all these notes here. I've got a ton of notes and questions. Because you were a wealth of knowledge. So, okay, so I wanted to ask you this. We're talking about the agendas coming in. What are your thoughts on artificial intelligence?
Well, that's one thing the Sasquatch warned us about. It's say the transhumanist agenda,
Yeah.
to be more precise, because I mean, if an algorithm can perform and do some good job, I mean, that's not necessarily wrong.
Yeah.
Depends who's doing what with it. If
Yeah.
it's meant like, I don't know if people watch the news. Sometimes I just, sorry. Right now, they're launching the general AI intelligence. It was announced by the great tech tycoon at the World Governments Summit
World
2020.
Economic Forum? Or,
World Governments Summit. That's how it's said. It just
oh,
happened days ago, a week
no.
ago. Nobody noticed. It wasn't on the news. I listened to the whole speech. Well, what they're telling us. I don't want to name, right? Because he said there's going to be like a brave new world of Aldous Huxley. So where only a small fraction of very smart people control the intentionally dumbed down mass. Right? That's an official program
Yeah.
who, on the
Yeah.
big screen in front of thousands of delegates of the global leaders.
Yeah. They're not
I
even
could
hiding
add
it.
some, but that gives a clue.
Yeah.
That was enough to make me want to shut it down.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this is to me, it gives me the creeps, this transhumanism stuff and this AI stuff. I don't have a problem with I prefer nature over anything. I trust nature implicitly. But if there needs to be technology, I'm okay with it so long as it's being used truly, genuinely, benevolently for us instead of on us. But
Yeah.
it's being used on us for nefarious reasons.
First of all, for surveillance, because there's nothing you can say or do or even think nowadays that's not recorded somewhere and
Mhm.
monitored and censored by some social credit score or whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, if you inform the population like I have, I guess you will find out that censorship is the norm. You have to
Yeah.
control. You don't look after.
Um,
Plus, the other thing is transhumanism. Uh, while talking about it, there was about 20 experts of the FDA studying the possibility of approving the Neuralink brain implant. But they just lost their jobs.
okay.
So there's
Wait,
no,
so they were the people that wanted to put in brain implants lost their jobs?
now the people that were in charge of studying the feasibility and the risks and the adverse effects,
Oh, okay.
they just lost their job a couple of years ago. So there's no more regulations.
Oh,
If you want
geez.
your brain chip, you can get it right away. I'm sure it's probably available.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh,
Sorry,
it's
I
madness.
tend to be sarcastic sometimes in such situations.
Well, you kind
Uh,
of have to. We have to laugh at the madness because it's madness
yeah.
and to keep from crying.
So I went to exorcise curse sometimes, like
Exercise what? I can't hear you very well. What did you say?
I said, laughter is a good medicine and it's a way to exorcise the curse sometimes.
Yes.
It's a very powerful repellent for negativity.
Yeah. Isn't that a good way to dispel with it? What is it? The best way to dispel demons is to laugh at them. Or one of the ways, I'm sure you have definite ways because you're a shaman, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, what
So,
I was taught and shown, because I was asked to practice that several times, is that unconditional love, you know, unconditional love, compassion,
mhm.
that's the ultimate medicine and power in the universe that can
Yeah.
transform souls, destinies, and neutralize evil or attacks. I've practiced that in my life. I've been even threatened by all kind of weapons and found myself in different life-threatening situations.
Oh my goodness.
And even worse, I've been had to confront some, witchcraft warlords, I guess, the black magic stuff.
Yeah.
Some were very powerful. Some have some power of
Yeah.
illusion, but uh, the best tool, the best weapon, the best protection is compassion. Just divine love. You don't hate. You don't fear.
Hmm.
You just accept it is as it is, and the soul has right there an opportunity to hear, to or to learn, or to change their intention.
So you
I think
send them love? You send them love and compassion?
it
Okay,
works.
yeah.
It's I mean
Like shining a light.
I could tell a dozen anecdotes to how I was uh, attacked different times by people who were often under the spells or influence of some entities
Yeah.
with axe or hunting knife or gun, whatever,
My
and
goodness.
machete and stuff. But I never ever had to fight or hurt anyone
Hmm.
with this weapon, unconditional love.
Yeah. Yeah. So, um, we've definitely agreed that we seem to be, well, we are under attack, right, by these dark lords trying to keep us from growing to our highest potential. So, what is your advice to everyone right now, right here, right now, with what's going on in the world? And what advice do you have for us or messages?
Yeah. I would there's many things, but the main thing that comes to mind right now at this moment in the actual planetary crisis is my advice is stop following the lower lords. Stop worshiping your tyrants, your mind controllers, your handlers, your slave rider traders. Stop looking up. Look within. Look within. That's where the truth, the spirit, the light is. It's where you'll find it. You'll not find it in the mouth of a liar. You will not find it on a reality TV show. You will not find it in fake AI content. If you want to find the truth and the light, look within. It's always been there waiting for you to find it.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people mostly. Stop being slaves. Stop worshiping any figure that wants to impose their will on you. And that's because native elders have told me many times, and that's a teaching I've carried, is that the main problem with humanity now, it's a problem of leadership. Because there are some wise, loving, caring elders and knowledgeable people. We never hear about them. Nobody wants to hear about them, or a few do, but the mass don't. Well, the mass want to hear the liar, the crook, the psychopath. And that's why the world is in such a bad shape, because people don't want to hear the simple truth that we're all here as one on one planet to share, to evolve, to learn, and through love we do it, to
Mhm.
serve, and not to fight over a piece of nothing, over an imaginary line, over numbers on the screen.
Yep.
Stop fighting. And if you want to stop fighting, stop following the warmongers.
Yeah.
How can you say you respect human rights and you want peace on earth if you support genocidal psychopaths? If you support people who think they have the right over other people's life, because what? Because they get billions, or they certainly don't have the wisdom and the leadership. They pretend they do. So let's wake up, humanity. Please, people, please, my own family, wake up. Stop following the crooks. Look for the real wise people and follow those teachings. Stop the propaganda agenda and all that political, even religious indoctrination that is the main disease affecting humanity right now.
I totally agree. Well said. Amen. I'm right there with you. I love it. Thank you so much. Um, yeah, I'm right there with you. I love it. Thank you. Um, yeah, because really they appear to be at odds. What they show us is they appear to be at odds, but really they're against us, all of us. And they're in the background hanging out together. You know.
Yeah, definitely. They're the same select club, and it's not hard to prove.
No,
There's
it's not.
hundreds of photos they all parted together.
Yeah.
Even the ones that they wouldn't want us to know. So, I mean, people, it's becoming to a point where the indoctrination, the mind control, the brainwash is so powerful that people prefer a wrong belief over a right fact. People
Yeah.
deny facts, deny evidence, because they don't want to lose their wrong belief.
Hmm.
And where does those wrong beliefs come from? They come from the controllers, the mind controllers, the manipulators, that use know how to manipulate people. And until humanity wake up and realize that we've been fooled, we're still being fooled, and we've been tricked, and it just keeps getting worse. It's going to get much worse, I can tell you, because it's not ready to stop. People are not ready to stop it.
No.
People are still supporting all those crimes against humanity and the injustice and the power grab and everything you want to call it. And I'm not like either right or left. This is a total false dichotomy that created by the controllers who handle both sides, the divide and conquer
Yep.
narrative, so they can people they can have an illusion they have a choice. So, but then you have to take a side, even if both sides are evil. The lesser evil, the a little lesser, a little more, but they're both evil. So why do you have to take a side?
Right.
Why don't you just stay in your center, not their left or their right, that are control opposition both sides, depends who's in office.
Right.
Yeah. And why don't we just sit in our own God-given, innate, inalienable, non-negotiable sovereignty? We're
Hmm.
born with this free will and self-determination, and people stupidly keep surrendering it to some master.
Hmm. Judas goats.
Okay, I'll let you talk. I'm gonna
No,
wheel up.
no, you're great. No, I'm totally agreeing with you. Those people are Judas goats. They're leading everyone to the slaughter. Um, what was I just gonna say? It totally left me. So what happens, I guess, let's say people don't wake up, and then there's people like us that do. Do you see a lot of people are talking about a splitting? I talk about an alternate reality I feel is coming where it's just like we're gonna turn our backs on it and we're gonna go do our own thing. We're gonna get back to nature, get back to community. Um, and then I don't know, I guess those people are gonna be part of 15-minute cities. Like, what do you see happening? And what happens? Are we gonna split? Like, what do you see happening?
Yeah, this topic is addressed in the Sasquatch message to humanity.
Okay.
Um, yeah, because everyone has free will, and everyone will choose the path they want. There's depending on the influence they follow. There's a Hopi prophecy rock, which has a inscription of two roads that represent the history of the world and the four ages we've passed. We're at the end of the fourth age.
Hmm.
And it shows that a way of life out of balance that is called Koyaanisqatsi.
Okay.
A way of life where a spirit is not, it's not including the spirit. Materialism, right?
Yeah. Okay.
That brings exploitation, destruction, and that way of life was to bring another way of life, which is Powakatsi, which I mentioned earlier. Powaka is energy draining
Yeah.
entities, powers or institutions. And that way of life, which we can see very easily today, brings to the last and final stage, which is Nakoikatsi, which means a way of life based on war and violence. Because how can you maintain a system of exploitation and slavery without violence? It doesn't work.
Hmm.
But the biggest gun is not always the wisest mouth. You know, we ought to understand that this age of Iron Age and Kali Yuga, the law of the weapons, it's totally obsolete. We have to evolve if we want to pretend to be an intelligent species,
Hmm.
not even superior to the others, how. But at least we can be enough intelligent to learn to live in peace between ourselves and with our environments. But this does not work with materialism, greed, and imperialism and colonialism. It doesn't work with those ideologies, supremacism.
Yeah.
So that's why people have to. There's two roads. It says that all road out of balance will vanish, will self-destroy, but it's not sustainable. What will last is the only viable lifestyle is the natural way of life, natural law, living with the cycles of Mother Nature and honoring and using our resources to make them fructify.
Yes.
So that's what the Hopi teacher has been saying. There's an Anishinaabe prophecy of the seventh fire that's well known, also very famous, and basically in this saying slightly the same things that in this period of this time we are in now of the seventh fire, a time where all the nations come together and some start to look back for ancient wisdom left behind, and their steps lead them to the elders, and the sacred fire is rekindled, and the teachings are spread again, and to bring a near of peace, brotherhood, and healing on the planet. The eighth fire. But it says we at this time, we at that time, we have to choose between two roads, which is the road of excessive materialism, greed, and over misuse of technology. The other road is a slower path going back to nature and spirituality. The first the first road will vanish, will be destroyed. The second road will last. So it's hard to choose now. And you were asking like, what can we do? Well, start to manifest today your values, your what you care for, what you wish for, the world, the universe, the reality, the environment, the relations that you want to co-create, and this starts to make ripples and bring fruits, and the more it goes, every little seed planted turns into a tree or a forest, and then you have your paradise home, your perfect refuge that you've been dreaming of. Because if you wait for anyone to plant the trees for you, you might never see them. That's what I'm saying to people who listen, and thank you for all to the audience. I think we're getting to an end. That listen to your soul, listen to your heart, and that connects you through empathy to all living sentient beings, and learn to live in harmony with all those things, because all those beings are teachers. They carry medicines and teachings that to help us if we honor them,
Yes.
and we can create long-term stronger connections when we interact, and this helps us to create the reality we wish for. If we have some good interactions, and we can create a good social environment as well as a good living environment.
Yeah.
And there will always be those who follow the other way, that they might end up in smart cities, being chipped, being monitored, being transhumans. Okay, it's their choice. We cannot, we don't have the right to stop them. It's their choice.
Yeah.
But each one, each road will lead to a different result and different consequences.
Yeah. I love that. And I feel that resonates big time. Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, we're getting down to the end, and you've been up for 24 hours, you told me before we came on.
We're
So
good now.
bless you for coming on. You did great. I couldn't even tell. Um, so I'm gonna let you go in a minute, but first, I know we mentioned your website. Is there any other place that you want to tell people to find you before we go?
Well, that's my Sasquatch Central, because I'm giving up on social media pretty much. I've been spent decades there.
Wise choice.
Get
Yeah.
better to do.
Okay, I hear you. Okay, so just your website,
Yeah, it's the best
which
place.
will be everyone I said again, it's going to be in the link of the show description. You can go on there. He's got a ton of wealth of knowledge, very interesting, amazing website. And you can also order his books through there. And they're also on Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Your books? Okay. All right. Well, SunBow TrueBrother, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Get some sleep. Thank you everyone for being here, and goodbye everyone. Take care.